Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome to our channel if you're new here. In today's video, we'll be showing you how to make our version of pad thai. Now of course this is not a authentic pad thai, but it's more of our take on it, kind of a West Indian take of it. We love pad thai, we love ordering it, but we thought it would be nice to try and make a recipe of our own out of it. So if you'd like to see how to make this, then stay tuned. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel because you definitely know that this is going to be delicious. So without further ado, let's get on into the video. Alright, so we're starting off with the ingredients you need for this recipe. So you're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of lemon pepper, and 2 teaspoons of hoisin sauce. And then you're going to also need 1 small onion chopped, 1 chopped shallot, 1 hot pepper chopped, that's of course optional, 1 tablespoon of chopped ginger, and 3 tablespoons of mixed seasoning. Now we use this mixed seasoning in our last recipe. If you'd like to see how to make it, we will definitely make a video on it separately, but it's basically just a lot of cilantro, garlic, celery, and things like that. So we're also going to need, of course, some vegetables. So we're going to use some mushrooms, carrots, bean sprouts, bell peppers, and of course some cabbage. You're also going to need some sort of pad thai seasoning. Now, of course, you can make yours from scratch, but this is the sauce that we're going to be using to have that mix. You're also, of course, going to need some meat for this. You're going to need 1.5 pounds of boneless chicken. You can make this vegetarian if you'd like, though, as well. You're also going to need some garnishing, so we have some lemon wedges here and also some peanuts. Now of course if you have anyone with a peanut allergy, we would suggest skipping this step, but usually with pad thai, lemon and peanuts usually garnish the top. 2.5 teaspoons of vegetable oil will also be needed. And aside from the pad thai sauce that we were using, we're also going to use this seasoning mix just to add a little more kick of flavor. And these are the rice noodles that we're going to be using as well. So those are the basic ingredients that we need to get started. Of course, you can sub things out as you go along, and of course everything that we've listed will be in the description box. Okay, so we're going to start off with our mixed seasoning. Now basically, if you don't have this mixed seasoning, or if you just decide that you don't need it, the best thing is just to add your basic seasoning like salt, pepper, things like that. We're also adding our 1.5 teaspoons of salt here. Then we're going to be adding 2 teaspoons of soy sauce to the meat, as well as the lemon pepper. You're also going to add the 2 teaspoons of hoisin sauce. And you're also going to add 1 tablespoon of the chopped ginger. You're also going to add the hot pepper, and of course, like I said, this is optional if you don't like too much spice. And 1 small onion chopped, as well as the chopped shallot as well. And we're using only half of this dried pad thai seasoning, and we're going to save the other half for when we're actually putting the pad thai together. So you're just going to mix this into your meat, and this is just going to help have the meat nice and seasoned well before we move into making anything with the noodles. Speaking of which, we are going to take the oil and start heating up our pan, or our wok in this case, and simultaneously we're going to put in some salt and also start putting in our rice noodles to boil. Now you can boil this for about 2 to 3 minutes, just keep watching it because usually rice noodles start to loosen up very, very quickly. Okay, so now that our oil is nice and hot, we're going to take that meat and we're going to carefully put that in. As this is going into a wok, you might want to be a little careful with this. It will get very hot. And from there, you're just going to let this cook. And because we're not adding in the noodles right away, you're going to let all those flavors marinate together before we add in the noodles. So you're going to let this cook for about 5 to 10 minutes or so, and you can cover it down with a cover. Alright, so while that was cooking, we also have our rice noodles completed here. So we're adding some butter to this. Now you may be wondering, This is not regular pasta, why are we adding butter? Now we noticed that we have done this recipe before, and we noticed that rice noodles tend to stick together quite a bit, and we wanted the noodles to be a little more loose, so adding this butter does loosen them up quite a bit before adding them into the wok. So we're checking in on our chicken over here, and it needs to simmer for another 20 minutes. You want it to be at least halfway cooked. Alright, so now that it's about halfway cooked, we're going to take our vegetables and add those in as well. You want to add in the vegetables near the end, like as I said, the chicken's almost done, so that's why we're adding it there. And this will just allow the vegetables to be a little bit more crunchier and not too soft when you're finished cooking it. We're also adding in a little more of those chopped shallots and onions. We had some left over. And you're also adding in the rest of the pad thai mix and just a splash of the other pad thai sauce. So we're going to mix all of that together. And you notice that we haven't added in the noodles yet, and that's just due to the fact that we want all of this to be already cooked before we add in the noodles, since the noodles are already completely cooked. So you're going to let this simmer for another 2 minutes, and then we'll come back and add the noodles. Alright, so now we're adding in the noodles, and because we have a very large wok here, we're just adding in the noodles very gradually, and you're mixing it together as it soaks up all of the seasoning and all of the tasty goodness. So you're gonna keep adding and then simultaneously stir all of that in. Make sure that your wok is still on heat. You still want it to be on high heat here because you want to make sure that the seasoning and the noodles are being cooked together and it's actually soaking right into the noodles. So now we're just adding in the rest of the noodles here, and you can see we're slowly but surely mixing all of that in. Now you may notice that this really doesn't look like a regular pad thai, and that's because it isn't. So it's more of our take on a pad thai, and it does taste very similar to a pad thai, but we wanted it to be a little bit more lighter, a little bit more colorful, so we added all of these different ingredients. Alright, so now that that is all mixed together, you can plate it up, and this is what our plate looks like. We added the pad thai, and then we put some cilantro on top, as well as some lemon wedges and some of those peanuts as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a recipe that we've been working on for quite a while. We've been taking the normal pad thai recipe and kind of turning it on its head and working around with it. And this is the recipe that we've been using lately, and we love it so much. Of course, it's not a original pad thai, but it's definitely as delicious as a original pad thai. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to comment down below what you thought of this video and other videos on our channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos when we upload. Hope you guys have a fantastic week, and thanks for watching. Bye!